These dates.
On the Toba circuit, monologist Moms Mabley developed a routine that spanned 6 decades.
They fired me. Of course, when they fired me, when I lose my job, I lose my man. That is, since I got, well, kind of old, you know. Now, don't get me wrong, it ain't no disgrace to be old. But darn if it ain't inconvenient, I can tell you that much about it. Knock me out, Luther. I love the dance. At least I used to love the dance. Am I blue? Am I blue? Aching tears in these eyes telling you.
There was a lot for artists to be blue about working Toba, an acronym that stood for Theater Owners Booking Association. But for performers, it always meant tough on black asses. White owners, bad theaters, hardly any pay, and mostly in the South.
'Cause there was a time when I was his only one, but now I'm the sad and lonely one, Lordy.
They call up and say, Bailey, we got a nigger here says he's yours. His name is so-and-so, and Bailey would say, yeah, that's one of my niggers. He's at the theater. Let him alone. And they would let him go. You could not walk the street after dark in the South?
Pardon me. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like it this time.
Phone just rang.
This one here?
Didn't you hear it?
Oh, no, I didn't. Hello?
What's the matter with this guy?
Yes? Mr. Reed's office. Mr. Reed?
Yes, for you. Must be for me. Got to make him think you're big time.
Yes.
Always have a secretary.
He's big. Hello? Yes, this is Reed.
Leonard Reed and Willie Bryant became stars at the Apollo in New York. Like the Toba theaters, a place where African-American performers could work before their peers to find their own voices in their own communities. But to become national stars, they had to deal with the white world, and that was really easy.
As a young black performer, I was not allowed to stay in many of the hotels where I worked. I think that's, to people who are young today, unimaginable, but it's quite true.
We never saw them at the same hotel we stayed at. And they tried to keep this from the kids. But I knew as a kid that the black people and the ethnic people had to go miles out of the way to get to a boarding house or get to a place that would serve them food.
If it was a white, bill, and the white audiences, white people on the stage and everything, they would want us to stay in a black hotel, But, and that's another thing where my brother and I, we sort of tried to clip that down too, and go stay in the hotels where the other people stayed.
Heaven's peace. Hey, that's Mommy. Yeah? Yeah, man. Well, all right then. Put my trust in Goofer dust. 'Cause you know someday it may bring you a seven.
Through talent, courage, and a refusal to be stereotyped, some performers overcame, like the Nicholas brothers.
Yeah!
Naturally, we're going to say no if they ask us to blackface and put on tramp thing. No, they never did ask us that. I mean, in all the years that we've been in show business, I think they thought we'd be out of character to do that because they always see us in the tuxedos and the tails with class and grace and all that.
Maybe that's why we never got too many parts in movies, because we wouldn't do the Memmy scene, and stuff like that. So.
Eubie Blake always wore a dinner jacket on stage. He was proud of his music and insisted on showing that pride. Of all the vaudeville performers who overcame huge obstacles to achieve success and dignity, the first, the greatest, was Bert Williams. He started out a minstrel in 1893 and by 1910 was the most respected comedian on the American stage.
Bert Williams' sample character, although he himself said it was the same shuffling nigger that was being portrayed by other people, was done with such subtlety that he came across as a human being.
Bert Williams mesmerized the audience. As a matter of fact, one of the bits that he did in the 1919 Follies was a shoe store, and he describes how the shoes are too tight. And my dad, who was a straight man, he says, well, what size do you wear? He says, well, I wear 10s, but 11s feel so good, I wear 12s.
He just seemed to relax, and everyone knew there was going to be a punchline, but he waited and waited, and he milked it for all it was worth. And then he would say the punchline very calmly. And his sense of timing was remarkable.
Sat on his knees, as a matter of fact, when I was about 5 years old. He was a very nice, kindly gentleman. And all business.
In the 1916 film, The Natural Born Gambler, Bert Williams recreated one of his most famous sketches, a mime poker game performed alone. Bert Williams was, as Robert Townsend says, the Jackie Robinson of show business. Not only the first black American to star with an otherwise white cast on Broadway, but the first black American in our history to be admired and respected by people of all races. He died in 1922, only 46 years old. He worked himself to death, trying to prove something he had already proved decades before, many times over.
What am I proudest of? I'm proudest of that the brother and I, or me, got the opportunity to do what we wanted to do on stage. And nothing took that away from us, you know. We did it all.